Hey guys, this is another video from Mr. T. This one's about solving linear inequalities. So the last video explained what a linear inequality was and how they related to equations, linear equations, sorry. So now, because they're related, we're basically applying very similar things to what we did before, because linear inequalities can be solved just like you've solved equations before. But because there's an inequality there, you have to apply 4 the rules, they're below, to deal with that inequality sign. So firstly, if you swap the left-hand side and right-hand side of the expressions around, you also have to swap the direction of the, or reverse the inequality sign. So let's say your question was, let's use what's below, 2x plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. And let's say you wanted to put the 8 on the left-hand side. You can't then write 2x plus 4 on the other side and then keep the sign the same. That's incorrect because you've changed the question now. You have to keep the open side pointing at the larger thing, which it says in the initial question is 8, and you have to keep the closed side pointing at the smaller thing, which it says in the question is 2x plus 4. So the way that you would have to write it, if you wanted to swap it around, would be 8 is greater than or equal to 2x plus 4. So that is the first rule. If you want to swap the sides around, you also need to swap the direction of the inequality around. That's sort of common sense that you would have to do that anyway. 2, if you add or subtract both sides from both sides of an inequality, so you're solving the equation and you need to add or subtract from both sides, if you do that, you just leave the inequality sign alone. It doesn't affect anything. Rule 3, if you multiply or divide both sides by a positive number, so that's the key there, if you multiply or divide both sides by a positive number, you also leave the inequality sign alone. You don't have to do anything. 4, however, if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, so the key there is a negative number, you do have to reverse the inequality sign. So you've got 4 rules here. 2 of them involve reversing the inequality sign. The first one is common sense. If you want to swap the sides around, then obviously you'd want to swap the direction of the inequality around 2. And 4, if you're multiplying and dividing both sides by a negative number specifically, then you also have to reverse the inequality sign. So let's practice that by solving the inequalities here. So you are applying the same equation solving rules that you've always done. The only difference is there's an inequality there. So this equation says 2x plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. So how do we solve that normally? I want to get rid of the plus 4. So the opposite of adding 4 is taking 4. And I have to do that on both sides to keep it balanced. I'll illustrate that it needs to be balanced. 2x plus 4, take 4 is going to be 0, so the plus 4 disappears. And so why have I kept the inequality the same direction? Because all I did was add or subtract from both sides of an inequality. I don't need to do anything to the inequality sign. I just leave it alone. So I just left it alone. I don't need to do anything. So 8 take 4 is 4. Next, what's the opposite of timesing by 2? Divide by 2. Divide both sides by 2. That cancels. X is going to be less than or equal to 2. Why didn't I touch the inequality sign? Because if you multiply or divide both sides by a positive number, you also leave the inequality sign alone. I divided both sides, but I divided both sides by positive 2, so I didn't have to do anything. Okay? So let's check that this is true. We're saying the solution to this inequality, 2x plus 4 is less than or equal to 8, is any number that's less than or equal to 2. So let's try. The biggest number that it can be is 2, because it can be less than or equal to 2. So let's try that. 2 lots of 2 plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. What's 2 times 2? 4 plus 4, less than or equal to 8. Is 8 less than or equal to 8? Yes. So 2 works. 2, let's try another number that's less than or equal to 2. Let's say negative 1. 2 lots of negative 1, because that's less than or equal to 2. That should work here. Two lots of negative 1 is 2 plus 4, less than or equal to 8. Negative 2 plus 4 is going to be positive 2. Is positive 2 less than or equal to 8? Yes, it is. Let's try something that shouldn't work, and let's see if we follow the rules and make sure that doesn't work. So, less than or equal to 2, what's the first number that's not going to be less than or equal to 3? 3 is larger than 2, so it doesn't follow that inequality. So let's try and see if it works. 2 lots of 3 is 6 plus 4 is less than or equal to 8. Well, 6 plus 4, 10 is not less than or equal to 8. So you can see that this is correct. X has to be less than or equal to 2. And so we got the correct answer because we followed the rules. Next, so here is a tricky one. This is going to apply the fourth rule, I believe, because we've got negative numbers here. So we're working in reverse bedmass order. We need to get rid of the take 4. So the opposite of taking 4 is adding 4. Because I'm subtracting or adding from both sides, I don't need to change the direction of the sign, so I can leave it there. So add 4 to balance it out. 8 plus 4 is 12. Okay, so now the opposite of timesing by negative 2 is dividing by negative 2. But to balance it, I need to divide both sides by negative 2. But we're not finished yet, because Rule 4 says if you multiply or divide both sides by a negative number, you have to reverse the inequality sign. So that's what I haven't done here yet. You would need to write, to get this correct, negative 2x is less than or equal to 12, and then divide both sides by negative 2. Negative 2 divided by negative 2 cancels. So x is going to be less than or equal to, what's 12 divided by negative 2? Negative 6. So you are saying that the solutions for this are numbers that are less than or equal to negative 6. I can draw that on a number line. 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. So including negative 6 and less than are the things that will satisfy this equation. No, sorry, this inequality. So let's check that. The smallest number it can be is negative 6. So let's plug negative 6 into the equation. Is greater than or equal to 8. Negative 2 times by negative 6 is positive 12. Negative times negative is a positive. Take 4. Greater than or equal to 8. 12 take 4. 8 is indeed greater than or equal to 8. What's a number that's less than negative 6? Let's say negative 8, so let's plug that in. Take 4, greater than or equal to 8. Is that true? Negative 2 times by negative 18 is is positive 16. Taking 4, greater than or equal to 8. 16 take 4 is 12. Is 12 greater than or equal to 8? Yes. What's the first number that is that doesn't satisfy being less than or equal to negative 6? Well, let's try negative 5. If we've done the rules correctly, this shouldn't work. So negative 5, take 4. I'm just plugging negative 5 into the equation. Negative 2 times by negative 5 is positive 10. Take 4. Greater than or equal to 8? Well, 10 take 4 is 6. And 6 is not greater than or equal to 8. So we have confirmed here that the answer that we've got to the inequality is correct. X has to be less than or equal to negative 6 for this equation to work. So hopefully that helps you out with your solving inequalities, and I will see you in whatever the next video is.